Preachers, you can't live one way on the weekends and get up here and try to live another way on Sunday morning, because you will shake but nothing will happen, because the anointing will not be there. I don't know about you, but I need my anointing. Anybody in here need the anointing? I need the anointing. I can't preach without the anointing. I can't teach without the anointing. I can't talk to folks without the anointing. You know you can't talk to folks without the anointing, because if you ain't got the anointing, folks just trying to help folks will make you mad. You ain't anybody know what I'm talking about. You trying to help them, but before the conversation is over, you done got all in the flesh. You mad. You want to slap them. You want to knock them out. Anybody know what I'm talking about? You want to knock them straight out. Am I talking? But you need the anointing. The anointing tells you shut up. The anointing tells you she ain't in her right mind, give her a little chance. He ain't in his right mind, give him a shot. Give him a shot. Just wait on him. He gonna keep talking. He gonna talk himself out of this thing. But you need the anointing just to come to church and talk to folks. Yeah. Oh, help me, God, help me. Go back to the Bible. Go back to the Bible. He said, carry forth the filthiness out of the holy place. Let me tell you something. This church is a holy place. We used to sing this song that says, bow down and worship him. This is holy ground. Don't you know that this, when you walk into this house, the Bible said that you may learn how to behave yourself. You got to behave yourself in God's house. You cannot come in God's house any kind of way. Look at somebody and say, behave yourself. Look at this Bible. Verse 6. For our fathers have trespassed and done that which was evil in the eyes of the Lord our God, and have forsaken him, and have turned away their faces from the habitation of the Lord, and turned their backs. Folks, there are folks who have turned from God. But God is raising up a generation of folks that will turn back to him. I don't care if your mama turned from God. It's time for you to turn back to God. I don't care if your daddy turned away from God. It's time for you to turn to God. And I tell you, if you want a blessing, it's time to turn. And when you turn back to God and love God with all your heart and tell God, God, I'll do your will. I'll do what you want me to do. I'll live the way you want me to live. When you do that, blessings will happen suddenly. Go down to verse 15. And they gathered their brethren and they sanctified themselves. It didn't say God sanctified them. It said they sanctified themselves. That means they set themselves apart. Oh, God, help me up in this house. And came according to the commandment of the king by the words of the Lord to cleanse the house of the Lord. And the priest went into the inner part of the house of the Lord and cleansed it, and brought out all the uncleanness that they found in the temple of the Lord into the court of the house of the Lord. And the Levites took it to carry it out abroad into the brook Kidron. Drop down to verse 19. Moreover, all the vessels which King Ahaz in his reign did cast away in transgression have we prepared and sanctified. And behold, they are before the altar of the Lord. Drop down to verse 25. And he set the Levites in the house of the Lord with cymbals and psaltery and with harps, according to the commandment of David and of Gad the king's seer and Nathan the prophet. For so was the commandment of the Lord by his prophet. And the Levites stood, so the service of the house of the Lord was set in order. And Hezekiah rejoiced that God had prepared the people, for the thing was done suddenly. But what did they do first? They sanctified themselves. God spoke to me last week and said, tell the people it's time to sanctify themselves. It's time for us to stop jibing. Time for us to stop pretending. Yeah. I don't understand church folks. One moment you in, one moment you out. One moment you at church, the next moment you don't come to church. I will let nothing stop me from coming to the house of the Lord. I'm not going to let people, I'm not going to let things, I'm not going to let anything stop me from coming to God's house, because this is where I come to worship him. This is where I come to glorify him. This is where I come to lift him up. And this is where I come to feel the presence of the Lord. Because I know that when I sanctify myself, every now and then I got to have a refilling. Anybody in here need a refilling every now and then? You ever feel weak every now and then? But when you get to God's house, all of a sudden you feel a little better. You feel like you can go on. You feel like you can make it another day. But you got to first sanctify yourself. And then you got to sanctify this house. Now let me help you out here. In sanctifying yourselves, the things that you do is you set yourself apart from the world. You can be in the world, but you're not of the world. I cannot keep doing the things of the world and expect to have the anointing. If I want the anointing, I got to let something go. I either let the world go or I let God go. And I don't want to let God go because I'm not going to get no anointing with the world. But if I want the anointing, I got to let the world go and grab hold of God. And when I sanctify myself, that means I'm making a decision that I'm going to live holy for God. Somebody say holy. I want you to say it like you mean it. Somebody say holy. Holy, holy. You can't sleep around folks and be holy. Sisters, you can't keep giving it up and think you're going to stay holy. Brothers, you can't keep sleeping around from woman to woman and think that you're going to live holy. God is looking for some folks that say, I will live separated from the things of the world. I'm going to live for God. For God I live, and for God I'm willing to die. And in order to do that, you got to kill your flesh. You cannot sanctify yourself and not kill your flesh. And you can't just kill it on Sunday. You got to kill it every day. Because every day your flesh will rise up. But every day you got to kill your flesh. We're going to sanctify this house, but I will be wasting my time until some folks get sanctified. Yeah. If you want sudden blessings, that means God gonna do it quickly. God said, prove me and watch me, that I will do this thing suddenly for you if you sanctify yourselves holy and present your bodies a living sacrifice. If you do that, God said, I'll suddenly do some things for you.